Okay, hi guys, this is the third segment, excuse me, third segment of the tutorial. And the third segment is just basically putting on the leaves. And this one, we will have 4 segments of this tutorial, but we're trying to do them in segments because YouTube is not happy about the length. So, and they make it very, very impossible for me to post if it's too long. So you're going to bring your needle up right next to the points of your flower after you're done filling in and doing all that. Now, I did want to touch down. Sometimes you will not need to put your beads up and down, but sometimes you will need to put your beads side to side. And that's what we're going to do on these leaves as well. We're not going to go up and down or along the sides. We're going to go from side to side. So I'm going to put as many beads as I need to have for my leaf. Let's see, how many do I want to have? Maybe one more. How many beads is this? Now this is a silver line green and then I have a light green to go with it. You can use whatever green beads you want to use. Okay, so how many beads do I have there? 5 and 10. So we're going to use 10 beads, and you're going to tack those down, okay? And you're going to do like before, but with your leaves, I would do every 2 beads and not every 3. So we're going to tack down every 2 beads with your other needle. Okay, so now I have 2 more, and we're going to go ahead and I'm going to switch the needles just like I do. I'm going to take this needle and put it in front of that bead. And instead of putting 10, I'm going to put 8, because the top one is going to be the bead and a bottom one is going to be. So it goes 1, and then 8 is 9, and then the bottom one is 10. And we kind of want to make it even and equally distribute the beads there. Okay, and then I'm going to go down. And we're going to use this thread now. This is getting a little bit shorter, so you're going to watch it a little bit. And we're going to tack down every 2 again. So now we have our leaf, and I'm going to go ahead and fill this leaf in. And normally I would put the beads there and then put beads here, but I'm going to go across like this with my needle. So we're going to do a little bit of bead embroidery because this will fill in the leaf a lot nicer. So I'm going to put 1 bead in there with my 1 needle. Okay, and I'm going to take that same needle and put 2 beads in now. Now you don't have to do it this way. I just find this way to be very quick and easy. I'm going to put 2 more. And if your leaf is really wide, you can put 3, but if it's that wide, then you may as well follow the line and go up like that instead of doing it across like this. Okay, and then 1 more bead. And there you go. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how I do my little stem here with my little things. So I'm just going to do 1 stem. And let's see, how many beads will that stem need? It's basically just a straight line. We're going to go 9 beads. Okay, and I'm just doing a straight line. Basically, every 2 beads, you take this, put it aside, use other one, and tack down every 2 beads, just like we kind of did before. Now, if you feel like your you need to move your needle up a bit, then, you know, do so. Now I have 9 beads on here, so it's not an even number. And I always like to make sure if there's 3 here, I mean, you have the choice of either not doing anything, but I like to tack down the very end one just to make sure it stays because this is hanging out and it's basically a straight line. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and take this needle off because I'm not going to need it. And but I still will need this needle, okay? And we're going to put these over here for now. And excuse me, I have okay, so now I'm going to just go ahead and add 3 of these 2mm balls, whoops, in the middle of each one of these. So I'm making a seed pods, and it's basically the same way we did this in the middle, except for we're doing it with some color. And you want to make sure that you have some distance from your stem. So I'm going to go right here, and if I can see the hole, okay. And we're gonna tack one of those down, tack that down, okay, and I'm gonna come up next to it, just like I did with this middle section, and we're gonna put some beads around that. I'm gonna go ahead and do the light red. And we're probably gonna need 6 or 7 beads. I'm not sure. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll try 6 and see what happens. 7 beads around a 2mm pearl, and I am sticking my needle in the end, and the 2 end ones, okay, or the ones that we began with, okay, and I'm pulling my needle through those 2 beads to complete the circle. So you see how I completed the circle? And now I'm going to take my needle and go back down through the fabric, just like that. And we're going to tack down every 2 beads. Every 2 beads. We're tacking down every 2 beads. I don't know, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Trying to make sure that you see this. Sometimes it doesn't want to show stuff, so I will keep trying to there we go. And because for some reason the camera on my phone is rebelling. Okay, now I'm going to cut some of this paper away. That way I can see where the edge is. And I will do the same thing right here. And that way you can see. I'm just going to keep doing it again and again. Boy, my camera is really rebelling. And I am sorry, guys, for that. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and tack that 2mm pearl down. Just like that. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to come up next to it. Okay. And I'm going to put 7 beads on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay. I'm going to stand up so you can see it. And I have my beads on here, 7 beads. And I'm going to go through the beads at the end and pull my needle through those beads. And complete the circle. Just like that. And then we're going to take our needle down through the fabric, and we're going to go ahead and tack down every 2 beads. Hopefully you're seeing this. I'm not sure. And then we're going to do the same thing right here. And I'll do it one more time because I'm not sure if you're even seeing it. Like I said, I don't really have like 5 cameras on my phone. I have only 3, so. Okay, you come up along the purl and you're going to put your 7 beads on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay. And you're wrapping it around that purl. And where you came up and put your beads on is where you want to put your needle through those 2 beads at the end. And pull it through. And complete your circle. Okay. Okay, and then you take your thread and go down right there. Okay, now you're going to tack down every 2 beads. All right, and now you're done with that, and now all you have to do is the other leaf, and then when you're done with the other leaf, we can tear the paper off. Remove your strings or your threads and needles. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and remove the paper. So carefully tear the paper away from your beadwork. And this is where a nice pair of pliers comes in handy. It's not necessary, but it's nice to have. And you're just basically tearing the paper away from all of your beadwork. And I like to use a pair of pliers to kind of get underneath and carefully pull it away. Be careful not to get any of your pliers underneath any strings or anything, because you don't want to ruin your stuff. I mean, you did take a lot of time to make it, so. Okay, and I'm just kind of getting all the excess paper from the little corners. There we are. Being careful not to hit any strings. Okay. All right, so that should be pretty good. There's a little piece of paper there. And don't fret if you miss paper, you can always dig it out later. So I like to use a needle to get underneath sometime, but you do have to be careful with needles so you don't dig into your fabric and so you don't hit the threads, okay? But we're good with this. And now what we're going to do is, I'm going to trim this just a little. We're going to check. So what I like to do is pull my piece like this because there is a little bit of displacement and we need to re-glue this area back together to make it all flat again. So like I said, I like to use this glue. It's called Fabric Tack. And let's take this off. I don't know. They must have used it or something. Oh, okay, so it does. All right, this is a brand new container. All right, so we're just going to re-glue that, make sure it's all nice and glued down underneath all that fabric. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect, it just needs to stick pretty well. Okay. And you're just going to kind of let that sit. Now, if you're like me and you want to hurry up, the next step that you need to do is your fabric. So you pick out a nice piece of fabric. In this case, we could pick out something like that. That looks cute. And we will glue your pieces onto the fabric. Now this is cotton fabric. You can get cotton fabric at any store. Sometimes they have them rolled up in a little swatch in your little extra section where they have sales and stuff. And that's always nice to find a little piece of fabric that is suitable for what you're doing. I'm going to put this aside for a minute, but this is the color that we're going to be using next. And right now we're just going to go ahead and finish this. Now when I finish this part, I will make a new segment again. So this is, I think it's 3 of 4. The fourth one we will actually sew this together and put the trim on because YouTube does not like long videos. So I'm trying to do as short as I can. And that means I had to break this up into at least 4 segments so far. So, okay, we're just gonna put some glue on there. Now, if you don't like chemicals, don't use your finger, use a piece of something. But I am okay with this. It doesn't bother me. It hasn't made me break out yet, and I usually break out from everything. So, and I will take that and I will put this on my fabric where I kind of want it to hit. I want it to hit right there because I want to get that little bee right there. And if you need to take it off and there we go. Okay, and then I'm just going to do the same thing with this. I'm going to glue it right down to the fabric. I don't know if you can see it or not. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm not sure if you can. Okay. I'm trying to stay right underneath the camera so you can see exactly what I'm doing. It's hard sometimes when my phone doesn't pick up and then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to do it again somehow. Okay, now when you're done with that, you cut this away, you cut the fabric away, like so. I'm just going to cut around this so I can get a manageable piece to use. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and this is a great time to kind of clean up, you know, like if you have felt board showing or something, you can clean that area up and trim that felt board. You're just basically okay, Now you have that one side. I'm going to trim it some more. There we go, so it's all nice and neat. Put that in the garbage, okay. And now, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to work to where when you sew it together, it looks nice and it's not showing everything. Okay, so there we go. So now what I'm going to do before I do anything else is actually take my glue and I'm going to put a bead of glue right here and right there, and I'm going to put a bead of glue around the top part of this. Okay, and what that's going to do, and I just want to carefully kind of roll it around this area because I want to keep it from fraying. I want to keep the fabric from fraying, and that's basically all we're really doing. We're keeping that fabric from fraying. Okay, and then you let it dry. And then we will go to the fourth and final segment, and you will get to see the finished piece. All right. See you then.